Well, the vision for the Progressive brand was really about bringing professional caliber products to the traditional health food stores. Not only do we handle all the aspects of the development and the formulation, but we also handle all aspects of the manufacturing process. We create these highly comprehensive, finely detailed formulas utilizing the cleanest ingredients from around the world. The last thing we want to do is to fall short when it comes to the manufacturing process. So to do this right, we need 100% ownership of that process. Saying that you know and have control over what's in your product is one thing, but that really has to be verified, and that's where our in-house lab comes into the picture. There's lots of regulations that deal with the testing required on a finished product, but to me, the horse is sort of out of the barn at that point. We also perform a whole battery of tests on incoming ingredients and incoming raw materials. Before any ingredient ever leaves our quarantine area, we confirm its identity and we verify its purity. It's critical that you validate and confirm the identity of any incoming raw material. For example, we have literally dozens of ingredients that arrive at our door as white powders. Now, they come with all kinds of documentation to support exactly what they are and all their specifications, but you still don't take that chance. You still don't trust it. There's still an element of human error at times. So we use a device called an NIR machine, which stands for near infrared, and it actually sends a beam of light through the material, and it identifies its fingerprint or its signature, so to speak. And we have a whole library that matches the roster of raw materials that we keep in-house. So it allows us to verify the authenticity of that ingredient. Having said that, most of the time it is exactly what it says it's supposed to be. That's the way this is supposed to work. But every once in a while it isn't. So by performing this test, we make sure that we know the identity of every raw material that shows up in our door, and we confirm it before it ever leaves our quarantine area. Well, not only do you have to verify the identity of any incoming raw material, but you also have to verify its purity, which means you have to have insight into its microbiological health, so to speak. The last thing you want to do is introduce something that is out of spec or potentially contaminated into the environment here. So while it's waiting in quarantine, we run the ingredient through a machine called the Solaris machine, and that identifies pathogens of microbiological contamination. So we're looking for things like yeast and mold and salmonella and E. coli, and you'll mix a sample of the raw material in solution, and it incubates it for a period of time and looks for the growth and the accumulation of those kinds of microbes. Now, this is not a Health Canada requirement. It's above and beyond what the regulation asks for, but it's just something that we're not comfortable with introducing those raw materials into our facility until we've gone through that process and made sure they were clean. We really want to know before those ingredients come into our facility, not after, and certainly not after they've made it to a finished product. And if an ingredient should fail either of these tests, it gets immediately rejected, the raw material supplier is notified, and the material is returned to them right away, before it ever becomes part of our product mix or before it ever leaves the quarantine area. And this is one thing that's just not negotiable. In spite of having done these internal tests and checks, the product isn't quite ready to go to market yet. There's still a number of finished product tests that have to take place. But in this case, we actually don't do it ourselves. We choose to outsource that final test. To us, it's a bit like checking your own homework. We'd rather have that final seal of approval from an independent lab before the product goes to market. But at this point, once we get a passing result, then the product does go off to our retailer partners and appears on their shelves. Our fish oils, for example, get sent off for a whole other battery of finished product testing. We use a body called IFOS, which stands for International Fish Oil Standards, and they perform a whole series of additional tests on our fish oil and post those results online. We actually give you a link on the side panel of our label that takes you to the results, and you could pull up the actual lot number of the product that you've purchased. So we're trying to be as transparent as we can with Canadians. We're doing every raw material test that we can. We're doing a whole battery of finished product testing. We're going above and beyond that with additional testing. We're truly trying to bring Canadians not only the most efficacious, but the safest possible products as well. When creating quality products, we just don't feel that you can take any chances. So that's why we choose to own the entire process. Our products end up always being pure, always being potent, always being effective. We want to have that peace of mind. We want our customers to have that peace of mind. We don't want there to be any question about it. We want you to understand that what's on that label is in that bottle every single time.